Spending time in solitude is one of the most powerful things that we can do for personal expansion and awakening. And for me, I found that more often than not, the things that I want to resist, that I used to run from or feel anxiety about, the things that I feared, eventually became the things that I desired most down the road. This was certainly true for me around my relationship to the feeling of being alone, which for years, since my early 20s really, I'd attached a negative label to. I used to associate that feeling, the sensation of looking around my apartment and seeing no one else there, with being unlovable, inadequate, or somehow off track. I would fall into these mental loops when I was alone, usually characterized by a general sense of disorientation and confusion about who I was or what I was supposed to be doing with that space and silence. I chose to feel it as loneliness. That turned into pain, and my sustained pain morphed into depression. A few catalysts and contrasting experiences over the years that followed shook me awake and helped to recalibrate my inner compass. I was shown a new lens through which I could choose to leverage and love time and quiet solitude. I just couldn't see that gift within the context of my old mental framework. Back then, I didn't have the consciousness, the perspective to fully appreciate the gift of solitude. It's funny, now it's my drug. I can't imagine not having it. Fair warning, once you start spending time alone and get over the hump, once you can transmute the dense energy of loneliness into the euphoria of uninterrupted solitude, there's a pretty sweet high that you can tap into it, and this ability to hear the depths of your own truth in a way you just can't do while in the presence of other people. Now, I don't despise company. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not antisocial. I just know what I need to maximize my creativity and my ability to hear my inner voice. And I didn't want to face it before. And it took a bunch of bad roommate experiences and a failed live-in relationship to get me to realize what I really wanted. But through those processes and periods, I discovered that the thing we're most fearful of is usually in and of itself neutral, or could be experienced in a positive way. It's just one dimension, one facet, one form that life can take. The thing is, we have an inherent expectation that some things should be unpleasant while others ought to be joyous. But that view, I found, is itself flawed. We actually dictate how we experience every circumstance life presents to us. Ego, expressing as expectations and assumptions in this case, is what stands in our way. The hard truth is that if you view something through a negative lenses, if you place a negative charge on it, it's because you want to view it that way on some level. And so we create the meaning that we tag onto the ups and downs of our life. We create our relationship to everything. So what if you took off the lenses of dissatisfaction or sadness or unfulfillment? What if you forcibly replaced them with a new vantage point just to test that new perspective? Could that help slowly shift the flavor of that particular scenario? It did for me, but it took both time and perspective for it to manifest. And you know what? If you simply can't reassign meaning or change how you feel, then just lean in. Relax. Understand that time has an inherent harmonizing quality to it, this unseen mechanism geared to guide us toward truth, acceptance, and awakening. In other words, time yields perspective. And perspective is the best antidote to gaining expanded understanding, which then unlocks all sorts of novel realizations, magical epiphanies, and personal recognitions. Sometimes you just have to wade your way through the muck to get there.